Good morning, it's Yvonne here to do What's Cracking reading. Before we go into anything, just a big thank you to all of your support. A little reminder that I do have an intermediate tarot class on the 18th of September. It will be from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I'm aware that in America it's pretty much Friday night or late Friday afternoon for you. So if you're interested in joining me for intermediate class, a few people have been asking me what would be the difference, and I would say to join the intermediate you're going to be to a point where you feel confident of the cards. You may not have read for other people before you would be confident of the cards themselves. So you might be reading for yourself, you may be even reading for friends, but you need to have sort of basic understanding. Next is we have a live platform event going on Zoom on the 25th of September. Linda the Psychic Pin-Up and I are doing that Zoom production or live, I guess, and doing mediumship, both mediumship and also psychic readings. We've reduced the size of the group down to 20 because it was a little bit more difficult to give everybody a good reading last time, so we're sort of feeling out, and this one we're doing in the morning in Australia. So if you're interested in joining us there, the Eventbrite is on my page, so you can go there and book on the Facebook page. While you're there, I have a competition going over 16,000 on YouTube, so for a free half an hour reading with me. You just have to answer a few questions. It just makes it easier for me rather than trying to sort of plough through all the answers. So if you want to go over there and join in that competition, that is open to you too. Again, on my Facebook at the Aussie Goddess. Now, the last thing I have to say is now I have a booking system on my website. So if you do want to have a reading with me, you can go over and book your own time. Keeping in mind, if you're overseas, you'll have to work out what time it is in your own time zone. But I'm just feeling this will take a little bit of weight off me. If you go to book a reading and you can't find a time that suits you, please email me, because I am keeping a little bit of time open for those who need an early morning or a later night for me here in Australia. So don't sort of give up at that point. Just whip back and flick me an email and I'll get back to you on that, whether it's possible or not. I don't usually read on the weekends, however, I have sometimes done that if somebody's in that sort of predicament. And then I think that's everything. I think so. All right, we're going to use the Albino Rider-Waite Tarot for your reading today. It's so beautiful this morning. You know, we've been in lockdown for like 10 weeks or something ridiculous. It's not as long as last time. We were in for 16 weeks or something last time, and I really flourished. I really enjoyed it. But this time around, I'm so over it. And I got up this morning. We've had 3 days of like really nice weather, and I got up this morning. It's the first time it felt like spring, like you could smell the smell of spring in the air. So I opened all the house up everywhere, and it's just beautiful. It's such a good feeling to go back into summer. I'm not really a winter person. All right, let's see where we're going here. The cards have had a really good shuffle. Okay, so we're starting off with the Strength card this morning. I've been talking and have been talking all the time I've been doing this work, but this week I have met the most incredible people. People are really starting to understand how to work on their own issues or their own past, and sometimes people not really understanding what's affected them in the past, but they've still gone for it and they've still dug deep and they've still, you know, been able to sort of find the things that have held them back. Yesterday I was watching a video where I always tell people, you know, that you need to go through your healing, and I guess it isn't really it's a very blanket sort of expression. And I heard this person yesterday say, not so much the healing, but after a relationship, you've got to find your way back to yourself. And I went, that was so beautiful. So I'm going to use that expression a lot more now, because when we say healing, we're healing the pain we have. But we're healing pain from where we are now, and we have to heal the pain from our past, because very often where we're healing in this moment is a culmination of all things that have happened a long time ago. And sometimes I see people comment, and I think, especially on YouTube, where people comment and they're very sad or very negative or very they're still in that energy of sadness, rather than going back and having a look at what is creating that energy for them. The easiest way you can start to make changes is by listening to your language, observing what is going on in your world, but also by being grateful. So getting up every day and putting out there what you are grateful for. The moment you start to let some of those slip, it's much harder to recognize yourself in yourself. So some of us may have lived with that sadness for a very long time. When I see the strength come out, it's sort of like this energy of understanding that somewhere inside of you there are things that really don't serve you. And if you're harboring sadness, pain from your past, or even from your relatively new past, then you're covering up vital and beautiful parts of yourself. Why do you do that? It's very difficult to hide an aspect of yourself without hiding a lot of aspects of yourself. So I often talk about, just simple things like being told when you were a child, something, you're too sensitive, you're too loud, you're too quiet, whatever it was, you've hidden that aspect of yourself because you fear shaming people with this part of you that people didn't feel comfortable with when you were young. But what happens is you end up hiding everything else as well. So in fact, what was maybe a small comment from someone who was obviously jealous or uncomfortable with your behavior, instead of just hiding that one aspect, everything that's related to that gets hidden away as well. And what you do is you live from shame and guilt rather than from who you are. So when the strength card comes out, I feel, look, there's the past card. You love spirit. So I feel like here for many of you are recognizing how your past has influenced you at this moment in time. Now, some people will say to me, I had a fabulous childhood, had everything I needed. I don't understand why I would have residue from my past. Well, let's have a look at when you're a small child and everything that people say to you, you take on board. And you do, because you're innocent, you're vulnerable, you don't know the ways of the world, you don't know that people are, not always have your best intentions, and also people who are actually negative or low themselves. So if you have a parent who was, very flat, very low, depressed, sad, any of those emotions, then you grow up feeling that that is your normal. And it's sort of like inheriting their energy or role modeling their energy. So there's definitely something in your shadow side here. And now I see the Hierophant. I think, yeah, that's exactly right. That is affecting you from creating a life of stability. So it may be that you find that when things are, going downhill or things aren't good or whatever else, that you end up in this catastrophic energy of nothing can go the way I want it to. I'll never get what I want. What's the point? So you get yourself into that energy. But when you start to work on why those energies come up for you, you start to create a more stable environment for yourself. It's sort of like, a little bit more organized and a little bit more that you can see what you're doing. You're watching. This is, this energy of watching what you do, observing your behaviors, watching your thoughts is a really big one. Because, negativity is strongly embedded in our language. And, sometimes we are so in the energy of being in that energy that we miss some of the things we say and do that aren't really good for us. We negatively program ourselves. So the Queen of Pentacles is saying to me here, especially with the Hierophant, this is about getting yourself back to basics. Not back to base emotions, back to basics. This is about becoming more in tune with your universe. It may be as something as simple as in healing. As I said, the inner child healing, your ego healing. It could be to do with, just getting back to nature, appreciating nature. I'm a big one for saying take your shoes off and go and walk on the grass with bare feet, and you feel really connected to spirit that way. But you've got to find your connection again. And it is about really sort of focusing on your own soul, what you want, where you want to go, and not allowing the world or other people to sort of put you off going where you need to go, living in your truth. Isn't it beautiful? Living in your truth, understanding who you are, where you've come from, understanding that even though things may have influenced you in the past, understanding that even if other people around you try to pull you down, strip you back, that ultimately you have your own truth, and it's living in your own truth that is so important to you. This isn't about being honest or truthful. It's about understanding who you actually are and not allowing the ego or the inner child to keep you believing that you're something that you're not. And that is your karma. Your karma talk for today. We have the Justice card here, and the Justice card talks about the scales, keeping everything balanced. This is, balancing your head over your heart, balancing your soul over your ego, really understanding who you are and bringing yourself back into balance here. And that is where a karmic cycle takes you. It takes you round through the lessons and brings you back to where you need to be. It's that feeling of getting up any one day and feeling good about yourself and the direction you're going in. So that's beautiful energy. It's funny, isn't it? I find negativity triggers me a whole lot. I don't even know how to deal with negativity. Because I feel like if people aren't seeing that in themselves and they're not seeing their own language or not observing themselves, it's really difficult to, not want to fix them. And I learned a long time ago that you can't fix other people. You can't do it. You might want to, but you'll know that you can't, because you'll say to someone, go and do this for yourself, go and do that for yourself, go and love yourself or whatever, and they're like, oh, I can't, I don't have the time, I've got too much in my day, I don't want to worry about myself, I've got to worry about this person. And I think, are you listening to yourself? Are you listening to what you're putting out into the world? Because you're manifesting more of that. So your sadness is growing through your sadness. I look at this reading here and I feel like somehow or another you may have got down in the dumps about something here. And it's a really funny twist to this reading here with this King of Cups, Ace of Cups energy. And I feel like here with the Justice card and Three of Pentacles, and I always see the Three of Pentacles as some sort of soul contract. And I'm asking myself, why does the King of Cups come up in this reading? Because it does represent Cancer, Pisces and Scorpio. And the cup is here. So, and to me, this King of Cups is really focused on this Ace of Cups. This person really does understand self-love. They do understand love itself. And there is some sort of karmic lesson coming from this. So you could be dealing with someone here who's showing you love for the first time. You could be dealing with someone who's offering you love. Perhaps you didn't think you were worthy. But there is a real feeling here that you're being gifted with this cup of love because of some contract here. Let me just pull a couple more cards. Yeah. I wonder here if for some of you, you've got yourself trapped in this energy here of this karmic cycle. So it may be that you've trapped yourself in this energy of feeling sad, negative or cold, I want to say, because you're not really understanding how to bring yourself out of this energy. The Wheel of Fortune, the High Priestess, sort of tell me things are about to turn though, because with the High Priestess, at this stage, nothing is known or something is hidden from you. But it's about to be revealed with this Wheel of Fortune. Something's about to turn for you here. And I feel it's in regard to your own self-love or your love. It may be love for another person that's being shown to you. But I really feel like this King of Cups is representing your energy at the moment. I feel like somehow or another you have this incredible ability to love yourself and love others, but you're keeping it sort of concealed here for some reason. And I want to ask, why are you holding it back? Are you scared to express yourself for fear of reprisal? Are you scared if you speak up and say what you want that it's all going to go pear-shaped? Because you're under some sort of conflict here, and it's like you're sitting in this energy of really not knowing which direction to go in. And I think it really comes back to going right back to the beginning here and understanding, are you holding back on something that you should be expressing within yourself? I don't feel that this is sort of like something external. I feel like it's you need to go back to the beginning and ask yourself, why do you love yourself? Why do you need to love yourself? What would you benefit from being, madly in love with who you are? Because something's about to be shown to you here. Either you are about to go into a new relationship or you're about to meet someone. I feel like you haven't quite done this yet. That's going to either show you how to love yourself or maybe show you how you've not been loving yourself. Let's just have a look. Okay, so Moon, deep hidden feelings here and an illusion. That's exactly what it's about. Okay. So some of you here are being caught up in your emotions and you're living in some sort of illusion here. And we talk about this a lot as readers. I'm not the only reader. I sometimes do my readings and another week later I'll watch someone else's reading and it will just be exactly the same energy coming through. We have this really uncanny ability to sabotage ourselves. And I feel like here, this is what you're trying to understand how you do this. So you might find, you've been in relationships where you have felt rejected, or you may have been in relationships that never seem to go anywhere. You may have been in situations or jobs where you've constantly cycled on something. But what you're doing now is you're not looking at the situation, you're looking at deep within, and you are going deep here with this Moon card. You're really getting in there amongst things. There is an energy here that something is very, very hidden from you, and it's in regard to some sort of illusion, some sort of way of thinking or doing that you have buried deep within you that you are still not seeing. And as I say, it can be a practice that is unconscious. Like if you've got somebody around you, like I said, who's very negative, sometimes you can give them feedback. Sometimes you can even say to them, you're being very negative, but they don't seem to understand. And we've talked about this before too, because a response I get often is, I'm being realistic. Well, no, you're not being realistic. You're actually being really negative. This isn't about being realistic. You're erring on the side of sadness. You've got a catastrophic energy where you go to always, what is the worst thing that can happen? And that is a valid question asked in certain circumstances. Like for example, if you're going to ask for a pay rise at work, you might ask yourself, well, what is the worst that can happen? They could say no. That is a valid question. But when I'm talking about catastrophic thinking, it's like, you've cut your finger and before you know it, you're down the road thinking you've got blood poisoning. It's really like going to the nth degree, and somehow or another here with this sort of illusion, it's like you've got yourself trapped in an energy. I think it's really good sometimes to think, who is the person talking to me in my mind? Who is the person that I'm most like in my life? And if you're triggered by other people, who does that person remind you of? Because some of those hold or harbor these secret emotions that have become trapped inside of you. Maybe you had a parent who was always negative. Maybe you've got a friend around you who always sees the worst in everything. And just keeping in mind that a lot of people do that out of jealousy because it keeps you small. And especially in this country, we have a real thing with tall poppy syndrome. We don't like people being too cocky or talking about themselves, which is really, really sad because we don't allow people to grow. We keep a lid on them. So ask yourself, who is keeping a lid on you here? Because somebody here is keeping a lid on you. They're not allowing you to grow into the beautiful version you are. And even if this person isn't around, their energy is still sitting with you, keeping you small. All right, so we have the Strength card coming through. So I feel like you're going to be looking at something from your past here that's been holding you back. I really feel that it's affecting your stability, seeing those two cards together. But when I see the Ace of Swords, it's holding you back from living in your truth, from living in who you were meant to be. And I bet that person comes out at times. I bet that person within you, when you start singing in the kitchen and all of a sudden, you realize this voice is just amazing and you think, where have I been hiding that away? Well, somebody could have told you when you were younger, don't sing, it's really annoying. And so you never sing. And that might be your soul's way of getting out there to the world, your soul's expression. So if you're not singing, you're not expressing who you are. And what else does that hide then? Well, if you've got shame and guilt about the fact that you shouldn't be singing, and you're carrying that shame and guilt, you're going to question everything you do within that shame and guilt. You know, everything. You're going to wonder about being assertive in case that brings shame and guilt to someone, or embarrassment to someone. But you are putting this energy down. So I do believe with the Strength card and those cards coming up at the beginning here, you're starting to understand, yeah, there's the Tower. All right, this is where the Tower is just incredibly beautiful. For some of you, I feel like somebody is coming in here. Somebody is coming in here to offer you an answer to this. And whenever I say that, I think this is an action card because it's the Knight. So it's somebody offering you something in the way of some sort of information, a gift, something here that's going to help you to break down this pattern from the past, because you're going to rebuild this. You're walking away here from the sadness it's created. Have a look. So if I clarify the Ten of Wands, I get coming through the Tower. Now already that says to me this is a breaking down of old constructs. It's a breaking down of how you saw your world. It's a breaking down of who you are, and really questioning yourself here. Sometimes it can come in the form of an epiphany where you just have a wake-up call, but in this particular circumstance, I feel like somebody is offering you something here that may trigger you into understanding who you actually are at a deeper level, because I see you walking away from the pain and the heartbreak in your past here. Now, this doesn't mean just a broken heart where somebody sort of romantically walked away. This can be other pain as well. And when I see the swords here, I feel like you may be walking away from these energies that are left in your heart here. So this pain and blockages here, people saying things to you, you know, as I said, something in your childhood, maybe something from a relationship where somebody constantly bombarded you with negative thinking. You may have been in a relationship with somebody who was quite narcissistic, and they may have used certain tactics here to keep you under control. But somebody here has left their voice with you. Somebody's left some sort of really ugly communication with you here, and I see you walking away here. So somehow or another you're starting to understand how to rid yourself of that energy. All right, let's have a look and see what comes through in the Oracle card. Taking one at random. Okay, look at this. All right, this is where I love spirit, all right? So listen very carefully to the Oracle card. Somebody asked me the other day why I bother reading from cards, which was a little rude, but you're entitled to your opinions. But this is why I read from the cards. You are currently too close to see things clearly. Detach a little and you will start to see things from a higher perspective. By emotionally detaching from a situation, a simple solution will become clear. And that's what I'm saying. Be the observer. Stand back and look at what you're saying, what you're thinking, what you're doing. Stand back and look at what other people are saying, being, doing. Because we are so entrenched in our emotions. We're taught that from a very young age. Wallow in your emotions. Chuck a tantrum when you can't get your own way. Jump up and down, scream and yell, and see if you can get what you want. And we try it as a child until we are set really strong boundaries by a parent who just knows how to work with that energy. And of course, the best energy you can do is to ignore. That's the most painful thing for the other person too. Just ignoring, taking it on with a grain of salt and walking away. Because these people want to be heard. They want to dig deep. They want to hurt your feelings. So ask yourself, am I too close in this situation to see what's really going on? I'll leave you with that. Thank you.